396-5555. Jacksonville.
Man, y'all know what time it is. T-Law got the eyes of Lee Van Cleef when he go in that field.
Checks it down underneath. That's a crossing route to Christian Kirk. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10. Christian Kirk to the goal line. Touchdown, Jacksonville.
They made a major mistake when they made T-Law go to the spirit of the sky, to the oracle of the saber-toothed tiger, and the saber-toothed tiger now has the scepter in his hand, and he been to put every critic to rest. Man, last night I done marinated 2 turkeys. I got my cherry wood getting ready for my smoker. Just got off from work, off Pritchard Road. I'm gonna bake me 2 Cornish hen. My special recipe, I call it a Mediterranean Cornish hen. I'm gonna top it off with my homemade Long Island iced tea. And I'm only gonna top it off with 1 red top of Coca-Cola. The Maxwell House coffee will live on forever. Duval!
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Tom McManus, and Dylan Denmark.
Good morning, everybody, and happy Friday to you, the last Friday before the 2025 NFL Draft. This time next week, we'll be breaking down what the Jags did with the 5th pick, moved up, back, selected a player you love, like, not so sure about, whatever the case may be, right, and whatever else they do as the night goes on. Good morning, Tony Smith.
Good morning.
You are Duval till you die, aren't you?
Today,
You are rocking it out, man.
Yeah.
You've been rocking that a lot lately. Tom McManus
morning.
Came in here, collar all popped up. Like,
I don't know what happened.
What are you, like you're like a recording star or something now? Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. It got released today, man.
Do tell.
Yeah, Man, What a Life. It's my only single that I've ever done.
Your first ever?
My first ever single.
Debut?
It's available on iTunes and Spotify, and it's a song about my dad and his life, and my mom. My mom's in there too. And it was great. Damian Starkey, former bass player of Puddle of Mud and a great composer, musician. He helped co-write it, produce it, put it all together. It was such a cool experience. I tell you, man. And you don't realize, like, it's such, like, it's fun work because you're singing. But, man, it's pretty tedious, right? You take a verse when you're recording. I always thought you just sing the song a bunch of times through. No,
yeah.
You do a verse like 10 times. You do it, okay, and then they record it all and then pick which one sounds
Which is why
best.
the live version never seems close to the recorded version,
right? For a lot of artists, for sure. But it was a cool experience. And, man, to honor my mom and dad. And today's my mother's birthday.
I know, and your mother-in-law's birthday. I follow Tom McManus on social media, Tony.
I got to get them all in there, you know what I mean? But, yeah, it's pretty awesome. I mean, just to do it, I hope people like it. And it means a lot. And,
happy birthday, Mom.
Yeah, happy birthday, Joni.
There you go.
That's why I'm wearing a collared shirt. I never hardly do, but I am today because I'm taking her to lunch.
Well, tell her we said happy birthday.
I will.
And many more to come.
No doubt.
Let's hope. And I told you, I listened to the rough cut version of your song, whatever, and I thought it was really good.
Cool.
And so,
Thanks,
people go to @Meathead55 on Twitter, and you can get a link right there, take you right to it.
That's right.
There you go.
Absolutely.
I have not heard the finished version. I haven't listened to
It's
it
awesome.
yet. Yeah, well, I thought
Thanks,
the first one
Tone.
was, so I expected it to be good. So there you go.
Yeah, Damien did a great job. It was fun.
They toned down McManus a lot in that.
You can barely hear me.
More of an instrumental version. That's awesome, Tommy. Seriously, man. So
you only live once, right?
Right on. Hey, bro, you're a recording artist. You're an author. You're a lot of things, man. I think that's phenomenal. No snark here whatsoever. I
appreciate it.
And I'm Mr. Snark, so that's a rare occasion. Dylan Denmark, good morning to you. Join the Love Fest over here. What's up, man?
You know what I found out yesterday?
What did you learn?
You know Baby Ruth, the candy bar?
Is not named for Babe Ruth.
Yes. I did not know that until yesterday.
Yes. What is it? Grover Cleveland's daughter?
Ruth Cleveland. That's what
Ruth Cleveland. The president, while in the White House, his wife had a little baby girl named Ruth. And the candy bar is named Baby Ruth for her.
So the president, did he come up with it?
I
Or
think
did
the
somebody-
candy company
Oh,
was like,
candy company.
let's do this in honor. Wow, we got a
okay.
baby in the White House.
Okay.
Not a very
Yeah.
common occurrence.
Yeah,
so,
no, right.
You know, and that was it. So, yeah.
I thought maybe the president was capitalizing on his baby.
Do you know who the O. Henry bar is named for, though, Dylan?
I do not.
That'd be Hank Aaron.
Yeah, Hank Aaron. I knew that one.
Do you know who the Reggie bar is named
Right.
for, Dylan?
Reggie Jackson?
Yes.
Yeah,
all
they
right.
need to bring that one back. That was a good candy bar.
It was phenomenal.
I know.
Right? It's that
Chocolate,
little disc
yeah.
of just nougat and nuts and
Yeah.
all kinds of
It was
stuff.
awesome.
I loved Reggie Bar, man.
No
I probably
doubt.
still have. I had one in the freezer for like years.
Really?
Like, because that's my guy. Like, all-time sports
Yeah, sure.
guy.
I get
right?
Mr. October.
Mr. October.
Yeah.
I was like 8, 9 years old when he got to the Yankees, you know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was perfect time in my sports life. But, yeah, I had one of those bars in the freezer. I think I ate it eventually.
Yeah.
What else
You got
did I do
hungry.
with it? You know? I do. I bet you I have some of the, because they came in that orange wrapper. Right? I don't know if you
Yeah, no, I do,
remember.
yeah.
It's orange.
And
Reggie
Yeah.
on the cover. And I had a few of those pressed in a book, you know, like the
Okay.
wrapper from the candy bars. That's how stupidly obsessed we get sometimes as sports fans. So,
I wonder
regardless.
if that's the most successful candy bar named after an athlete. Are
What
there
else
any
is
others?
there? I mean, you get the O. Henry, which is still
Henry's
going.
a good one, yeah.
It is a good candy bar,
Yeah,
too. You
very
don't
good.
see O. Henry in every place
Right.
you go.
Yeah, it's kind of got the same ingredients.
They all have like a lot of the right? I mean, it's just like maybe my chocolate tastes a little different than your chocolate.
all
but
marketing.
It's all caramel and some
Right.
nougat, whatever that is.
Name
and-
this one, this one, that one.
Yeah, we'll call this an O. Henry. We'll do this.
This one, a little ball.
All right. You can't tell me that Taco Bell has like 30 different menu items. Come on. They got like 3.
right.
All right? And they're all packaged in a
Right.
different way. And it's all the same basic ingredients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think Reese's peanut butter cups are named after Pee Wee Reese.
Is that right?
Really?
I did not know that.
I was just
Oh,
looking
they
up
gotta
a
be the
list of
most
these things.
popular
I was
That
like,
would have
oh,
to
really?
be the
Yeah.
biggest success.
My
Wow.
grandmother,
Oh.
who lived with my mom's mom,
Yeah.
lived with us my entire life growing up, right?
Yeah.
She had some issues and whatever. She lived with
Yeah.
us. And she had no short-term memory. Like, she'd ask you what day it is, and then 30 seconds later, what day is it? And, you know, could go on all day doing this.
Yeah.
And but she could tell you all about the Brooklyn Dodgers in the 40s and 50s. And she'd always talk about Pee Wee Reese back in the day when I was a kid. So
Yeah.
I did not know that was
That's
named.
cool, man.
Reese's
Those
peanut
are-
butter
oh.
cups.
Forget about
That's
it.
great. Any other good ones on the list there, Tom? Johnny Snickers.
Did Wade Boggs have one?
What's that?
Someone on the text line said Wade Boggs had one.
Did he? I don't
Boggs
recall
candy
that.
bar?
I know Wade
hit
Boggs
up on
was famous
Google.
for eating chicken before every game. That was his thing. Every game.
Yep, the Chicken Man. I see Heath Bar is named after Heath Bell, the Padres closer.
Really?
Get out of here.
That's what they're
Heath
saying.
Bar's
here.
been around a lot longer than the Padres have been around,
No,
haven't
it's associated with, yeah.
they?
I
Okay.
just saw a story on Wade Boggs where he drank like 70 beers on a flight.
Bro.
Is that true?
It's one of the greatest It's Always Sunnies of all time.
Is it a true story?
It's a
though?
legend.
It's a
Yeah,
legend.
right.
And they do the whole thing. The whole gang's trying to drink 70 beers on a cross-country flight.
Okay.
It's right. I don't know. Maybe he did drink a whole bunch of beers, but 70.
I know. I'm trying to like.
Come on,
this-
you
what is it, a
die.
5-hour trip?
All right.
6 maybe. You can't drink 70 beers in 6 hours.
I'll tell you here, you can drink more than 6 in a 5-hour period.
Oh, I know.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm just saying. No, I said 5 or 6
5
hours.
or 6 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
You're like,
I mean, that'd
yeah,
be
maybe
12
6.
an hour.
Oh, it's stupid.
way.
No, right. But that's why it was
The legend.
probably heightened for
Urban
the TV
legend.
show. But it was that was the story. And he'll tell you it's true. He ate chicken every day.
Yeah.
Like that was his superstition. He had to have a chicken meal every
Good
single
protein.
day.
Chicken and beer go together.
Whatever works, man. What
Yeah.
did you have any game day food rituals?
No, I really couldn't eat in the morning. I was just,
Nervous? Like nervous
yeah,
energy?
just didn't like having a full belly. Some guys would eat a ton. I'd be like, man,
I would think you'd want
for
a
me.
little some fuel
like
in there
toast.
to
I'd have some toast.
Yeah, something just to-
just a little bit.
make you feel like your stomach's not on empty.
Right, for sure. I drink some shakes.
You know, Tom, I skipped lunch yesterday and I was out on the golf course and I felt a little
Almost fell out.
lightheaded. So I know the grueling
You almost
toll
fell
that
out on
sports
the
can
course.
take on you.
Yeah. Amen.
Tommy, there's been a lot of buzz lately. Maybe it's founded, maybe it's not. I have no idea, right? None of us know. That Ashton Jeanty could be actually in play for the Jags. You're seeing it now. more and more with some very credible people like Dane Brugler of The Athletic.
Yep.
Final 7-round mock draft had Jeanty going to the Jags. He's not the only one out there. And even when it hasn't happened, there's been talk that, well, why wouldn't the Patriots or the Jaguars be interested for the same reasons as the Oakland Raiders? Do you feel like this is substantial? I mean, we don't have any way of knowing for sure, but what does your gut tell you? Do you think the Jags are considering him? Is he on the short list of players you think they would consider for 5?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, he's a home run hitter. He's a playmaker. He can do all three aspects of the position, as far as run, pass, and blocking. Here's my thing, though. If you do that, then the second round's got to be somebody up front. Because you can't roll in with what we have right now. I don't think.
Up front on which side?
O-line. I'd find a way to upgrade.
What if they feel like they have? I'm not saying they do, right?
Yeah.
That they feel that way, but center and right guard they've added, right?
Yeah.
They added 2 depth tackles to maybe come in and compete, right? Nobody's sacred. You could still get a guard in the 3rd or 4th round potentially if you want to bring in some competition, right? I mean, is there a world where they think, you know what, we've addressed this, and not that we'll overlook it, but it's not as pressing a need as some think it is?
Well, listen, I know as a new regime, you can't build that. You can't fix everything in the first year, right? You got to sit there and say, okay, can we get by with this? And then next year, maybe we address it. You know what I mean? And we have other pressing needs. I just say, look, I look at us, the Pats, and the Bears. You got these franchise QBs. Make sure they're ultra protected. We know what happens when there's pressure.
Isn't one way to protect them though to have a dynamic running back who defenses have to account for? I mean, if he is a Saquon Barkley level player, right? To say, hey, every time Trevor drops back and play actions, defense has got to respect that.
Right, but if our old line ain't open and I don't care how Jeanty ran over somebody at UNLV. You know what I mean? Like I don't think he's going to be running over people in the NFL consistently. I don't know. Look, Saquon is phenomenal. That old line for Philly's phenomenal. The quarterback's phenomenal. Their offense is pretty
I understand
phenomenal.
all that, but even in New York, he was a 1,300-yard rusher and a great receiver on top of that.
Yeah.
So if I told you Ashton Jeanty would average 1,800 yards from scrimmage for the next 5 years, is that worth the pick? And whatever touchdowns
that means my O-line's playing pretty well. So however that happens, then sure, of course.
I mean, he could be I could see him being a 1,300-yard, 500-yard guy, 13 rushing, 500 receiving. I think that's well within his range of outcomes.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
No, I know.
I asked Tony this, and I really don't know the answer. I know Colton Miller's a good player.
Yeah.
But how good is the Raiders' offensive line? Like, nobody's batting an eye that the Raiders are like, hey, Pete Carroll wants to run the ball.
Right.
Who better to run the ball with than Jeanty?
Right.
They're not saying, well, he's got to wait until he has the perfect offensive line in place. They're saying, no, this guy's got to make the biggest immediate impact for a coach who doesn't have 10 years to build that program.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I don't know who their offensive line is. I know Colton Miller's their left tackle or right tackle.
I think he's left. And I think he just
something.
Jordan Meredith at left guard, Jackson Powers Johnson at center, Dylan Parham at right guard, and DJ Glaze at right tackle.
I have no idea who they are.
I mean, I've heard of some of the. I mean, obviously Jackson Powers Johnson. I don't honestly know how well he played.
2nd round pick
last year. Right? But that was the reason I bring it up, because obviously a lot of Jag fans were, let's get our replacement center, and then they went out and signed Mitch Morse. But even then, they wanted Jackson Powers Johnson.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, for me, the tackles, it's like, here we go. It's the same thing since 2021, it feels like. If we go with Walker, and Anton from, this will be his 3rd year. Anton's really got to turn it around. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying he's going to.
But are you ready to draft a guy to replace him right now?
I'm ready to draft a guy to replace Walker Little at left tackle for sure.
Okay.
I'd take Campbell or Membu and place him at left tackle
and
right
that's
away.
Fine. And that's really where I'm at, too. Offensive line would be my top priority at 5. I don't know if that's what they agree with. We talked a lot about Jarian Jones this week, and until Jones came out in his interview with Jamal St. Cyr and said the team said, we see you as an outside corner.
Yeah, of course they do.
Right, but I think it was...
They hadn't said it.
They hadn't said it, and you could say, well, they replaced his job at nickel how do they really feel about this guy?
But you guys felt that too. I mean, he's
felt
kind of
sure,
a corner.
But
I mean,
I think different regimes look at different players in the film and say, well, I can work with that guy. And others are like, we got to get rid of that guy quick.
For sure.
Anyway, today's question of the day presented by Chad and Sandy Real Estate, because Jeanty is the buzzy player right now. How would you feel if Boise State running back Ashton Jeanty gets selected before the Jags number 5 overall pick? So he's not even there you as an option.
Right.
Your choices are, I would not be happy. That is my guy. In other words, that's your preferred option, and you're going to be bummed out. Number 2, mildly bummed. Oh, well, kind of would have been fun, but I'm not married to it. Option 3, yay, we get a better player. I didn't really want this guy. There are better players to be had. Or option 4, yes, we dodged a bullet. In other words, this would be a ridiculous mistake if they were to take him there. So that's your poll today.
Who would take him, do you think?
Oh, the Patriots.
You think the Pats would take him?
I mean, Chad Ryder came on with us earlier this week, was it? Last week.
Yeah.
Man, I'm losing track of all the time.
Yeah.
He's supposed to join us next Monday. He's supposed to drop a 7-round mock today.
Okay.
And he goes, I'll tell you what nobody's talking about. Why wouldn't the Patriots take Ashton Jeanty? Mike Vrabel had a dominant runner in Derrick Henry, and he knows the value of that, and he's got a young quarterback to protect as well. Yep. Ramondre Stevenson's an okay player. I don't think he's anything otherworldly. So I'm not saying the Patriots are going to take him, but they could.
Yeah.
The Giants could take him. I mean, hey, we screwed up. We let Saquon go.
Wow, that would be insane.
I mean, could they not,
in a good way.
Right, because the Giants do have some edge rush. Yeah. There. They have Brian Burns, and they have Kayvon Thibodeau.
I think if he falls to 5, I think the Raiders are going to panic. Somebody's going to.
Well, that could be the case,
Somebody's going to jump up.
Right? I mean, look.
Unless we take him.
If the buzz is that we're going to take him, maybe somebody jumps the Jaguars and then pushes another player down, which could work out. And that's kind of the reason for today's poll. What if that scenario happens? Either the Patriots take him or the Raiders say, you know what? Maybe the Jags are going to take him. We'll jump ahead of them. Yeah. How would that make you feel? Make you feel like, hey, we put one over on them, or, man, they got us at the last minute. So vote on that if you'd like today. Demetrius Harvey's going to stop by in about 20 minutes, give us his thoughts on all the latest going on with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Happy birthday to Joni McManus. Happy birthday to your mother-in-law, whose name I don't know.
Becky Russell.
Yep. Happy single day for Tom McManus. Single release day for Tom McManus.
Very exciting.
Happy Friday to the rest of you. And
Good Friday. Happy Good Friday.
Happy Good Friday, which is very important as well. 641-1010 on the phone lines or the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. YouTube virtual studio chat is wide open for business. You can post thoughts, questions, musings there. Hit us up on social media at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, at Meathead55, and at 1010XL Denmark.
Duval.
All right, we are rolling Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL. Tall, dark, handsome, athletic ladies man, sharp dresser.
That must be what we're looking for.
Yeah, none of that.
Can you just back up a little bit?
Ryan the Hacker Green.
So that will be what you call bluffing.
Weeknights on Jack Sports Radio, 1010XL.
This is the Mangler. Years of playing football coupled with lifestyle left my feet mangled with neuropathy. I was experiencing burning, tingling, and numbness. I spoke with 2 foot specialists, and they told me there was no cure. They were wrong. I found Dr. Nate Riddle in Ponte Vedra. After utilizing his neuropathy treatment for only 2 weeks, I noticed a difference in my feet. I was regaining my feeling and balance. If you want relief from nerve pain, call Dr. Nate for a free consultation at Riddle Wellness, 904-395-5598.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Summer in Jacksonville is coming in hot. Lauren Brooks here. Beat the heat with Turbo Tint. Their window tint blocks up to 99% of harmful UV rays and keeps your ride cool and comfortable. Book today at turbotint.com.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Need a fast casual option that's healthy, fresh, and delicious? Choose the Great Greek Mediterranean Grill. Gyros, salads, hummus, and more made completely fresh right as you order. Off 210 and St. John's Parkway. The Great Greek Mediterranean Grill.
Are you ready for some exciting football action? Your Jacksonville Sharks take on the Massachusetts Pirates Saturday, April 19th. Get family 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 $10 vouchers, and a $20 Al's Pizza gift card, all for only $100. Don't miss the unforgettable Frisbee Dogs and keep an eye out for the Easter Bunny. A fun night for the kids. Get tickets at jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. 904-621-0700.
Prosser here. The Jacksonville Sharks are 3-0 and ready to make it 4-0 this weekend as your Jacksonville Sharks take on the Massachusetts Pirates this Saturday. Get our family 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 $10 vouchers, and a $20 Al's Pizza gift card, all for just $100. Don't miss the unforgettable Frisbee Dogs and keep an eye out for the Easter Bunny. For tickets, go to jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. That's 904-621-0700. And go Sharks! Go Sharks!
Soft takes are boring. That's why I dropped the hammer on the Frangie Show. I'm Hayes Carlion. Listen for Hammer Time with Hayes, weekday afternoons on 1010XL.
Driven by Southside Kia.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein & Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein & Robbins, fighting for your rights since 1975.
Bueller, stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey man, what's that noise?
Do you hear it too? You can hear it, right?
Yeah, it's your air conditioner. It's like a grinding or a rattling.
And it's getting on your nerves, right? Like it's eating at your brain and you can't think straight? But it just keeps grinding and squeaking and taunting and nagging. You're not good enough. You're a failure. Why can't you be more like your sister, the lawyer?
Yeah, I don't hear that last part so much.
Yeah, but it's not cool, right, Jason?
It could definitely be cooler. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we can totally repair whatever that noise is and get your AC working smoothly and silently. We fix these things all the time.
So I won't be a failure?
Life should be enjoyed. If some irritating, broken air conditioner is making you crazy, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
What does your dream backyard look like? Hey, it's Joe C. and my friends at CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living can design an outdoor kitchen layout custom built to your taste and lifestyle. You dream it, they can build it. CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living. Visit CSSOutdoor.com.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
The best game day parking in all of Duval is at Tailgaters Parking. Are you ready for some football? Tailgaters is just steps away on the east side of the stadium. Visit tailgatorsparking.com and secure your season parking pass today.
Hey Jacksonville, Lauren here from Helmets and Heels. When it's time for new tires, look no further than Big Chief Tire. Their experts will help you quickly find the right fit, ensuring a safe and comfortable ride. With quality options, fair prices, and quick installation, you'll be back on the road in no time. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule your appointment and roll into 2025 with even greater confidence guaranteed. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Mac and in the middle, Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service on 1010XL.
All right, Demetrius Harvey, 12 minutes away or so from joining the program. We'll talk all the latest from the man from the Florida Times-Union covering your Jacksonville Jaguars. In the meantime, 641-1010 gets you in with Tom McManus and the crew, and that's what Paul wants to do on this Friday morning. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning. I wanted to wish Tom's mom happy birthday.
Thank you.
Love to see him in a collared shirt. That is so funny.
It's a rarity, right? Are you watching on YouTube right now? Because you're right about that, bro. He's a T-shirt guy.
No, I'm not. No,
Okay.
I've known him for a number of years. I knew him and Dave Weidel from 1010XL, the Real Deal Show.
Okay.
I used to work at the Beaches Leader, and yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
We appreciate you.
All right. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, Paul. Thanks so much. I'll let my mom know.
All right. Happy birthday from Paul and the crew. We've all done a lot of iterations of a lot of shows over the years around.
A lot of stations.
You told us you just did your first mock draft.
I only did like a half, like to 16. You know what I mean? Just to cover,
you mocked
just
the
to
first,
cover
the first half of the first round.
Yeah, that's it.
I see.
You thought
I didn't know if you
seven?
did. Well, there are sites.
No.
There are sites where you can just pick the team you want to draft for. And it will fill in the other picks.
Oh, okay.
And then as your pick comes up, you get to select who's who's available.
Well, yeah.
Good thing you don't listen to the program. We do it every Wednesday. Every Wednesday. But we only been doing it for 3 months, Tony, so I understand. It's a relatively new phenomenon. All right. So who did you have going at the first 5 picks?
So I had, let's see, I had Cam Ward, number 1, Travis Hunter, 2, Abdul Carter, 3 to the Giants. They didn't move.
Yeah.
I took Will Campbell, 4 for LSU.
Seems all reasonable.
And then Jags, I feel like the Raiders are gonna just panic, like someone's gonna jump them and do a deal with the Jags. So I have the Jags trading with the Raiders. Just
moving
one
back
spot.
one spot. What do we get?
Yep. Well, hang on. They take Jeanty. Then we're sitting there, and then the Jets call, and they want to move up because they want Membu. Because remember, Campbell's gone.
Okay.
And the offer's too good to pass up, so we move back to 7 and take Jalen Walker out of Georgia.
Okay. I would be happy with Mason Graham there, Jalen Walker. I'd be happy with a number of guys if we're able to pull off 2 trade backs for 2 spots and basically still get whoever you wanted, right? I mean, unless you wanted Membo there or Jeanty. But I think if you want Jeanty, you're not trading him you're not trading with the Raiders because you know what they're doing here. And Membo is the betting favorite to go to the Jets as well. So
they need a tackle too. A lot of teams need tackles.
So what was the total? Did you just say we traded with them, or you didn't figure out what they were giving?
I didn't figure out the compensation.
Gotcha.
No. Yeah,
you got
I didn't go that
cleaners, didn't you?
that deep.
All right.
No, I didn't even think about it. I mean, I thought about it. I'm like, man,
you should do that. You should try it. Go to ProFootballNetwork.com.
Don't tell me what it is.
There's a mock draft simulator, right? And you'll get trade offers. You'll be on the clock, and you'll be like 5th pick comes up. And you have 3 offers or 1 offer, no offer, whatever, and you can decide to accept or reject them and pick your guy. It's kind of fun. It's a little, the whole thing's a little unrealistic because as you move on, you get closer to draft, you're like, I keep getting this guy in the 4th round.
AI driven when they fill in the players?
It's probably based on their rankings and what the team needs are, and probably 80% of the time, the Raiders would take Jeanty.
Yeah.
Maybe they take Ted McMillan 10%, whatever. Something like that, I guess.
I saw. It was CBS Sports. They had the top, the top prospects. They had the Josh Simmons kid, even though with the knee. Top 16 overall prospect.
Look, Prisco thinks he's the best offensive lineman in the draft. If
he didn't get hurt, I think he would be.
Yeah, and he said if he didn't have the injury concern, the Patriots should take him at 4.
Yeah.
Right.
He said there's some character talk with him too.
Yeah, there is, and
that's all cloudy stuff.
I mean, he's one of those guys that's expected to come off the board somewhere in the 20s or maybe earlier.
Yep.
So I haven't really spent a whole lot of time looking into him because I don't think he's much of a viable option for the Jags unless they were to trade back up, from 36. But saw this mock over at NFL.com today. I mean, people are just getting a little wild at this point. Okay, I think Mark Ross at NFL.com. I'm not sure who that is. Maybe played in the NFL. I'm not 100% sure. He had Cam Ward to the Titans, no surprise. He had Abdul Carter over Travis Hunter, which at this point, I'd be shocked, though. Or put it this way, very surprised. It seems like all signs point to Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter, yeah.
There, they came out and compared him to Shohei Ohtani and say, yeah, we'll play him both ways. We'll play him both ways. Yeah. I mean, this is after. It's funny because we talked about this, Tone. The Giants came out and made a statement like, oh, we'll play him both ways. Like, what is your point in doing that? Are you hoping Travis Hunter tells the Browns, well, you better do that or don't draft me?
Yeah.
Because he basically said, if you're only going to play me one way. And the Browns are like, oh, no.
Right.
We'll do it. So I think the Browns take it, but whatever. He's got Hunter going to the Giants. Yep. Then he's got Will Campbell. Fine. Has the Jags taken Tyler Warren, which I don't think will happen, but regardless. Then the Raiders take Shedeur Sanders, which I don't think is 100% out of the realm of possibility. But I think it's a low likelihood because I do think the Pete Carroll, he's got Geno. Yeah. I don't think that's going to happen. I'd like teams to think that's going to happen so somebody feels the need to get ahead. And then the Jets taking Ashton Jeanty.
Whoa.
They already have Breece Hall, and they have a couple of other backs, and they already talked about like kind of dividing up the workload between those guys this year.
Yep.
I just don't see it. I don't. I mean, I get it. That's what Detroit did with Gibbs and Montgomery, and you got a two-headed monster, and all that's worked out so far. And Aaron Glenn did come from seeing that firsthand, but I that would really surprise me if
I agree.
Then Mason Graham went to Carolina. Jackson Dart to the Saints at 9, and Membo goes to the Bears
at 10.
Top 10.
They need a tackle, too.
We need a break is what we need. So let's take it, and we'll come back with Demetrius Harvey. Big Meech going to tell us what he believes is true and what is rumor and speculation at this point, 6 days out from the NFL draft. That's coming up next on Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. Man, I've been vouching for these guys for over a decade now. That's right. I've been eating their food for a lot longer, but Dandy has been one of my most loyal sponsors, and I'm always loyal to them as well. I will not buy any kind of food from a convenience store unless it's Dandy. That's true. I go to the Fresh Case. If they don't have Dandy products, then I'm looking elsewhere. That's why I go to Gate Stations a lot, because they always stock Dandy. Head to the Fresh Case. You're going to find over 30 different varieties of quick, easy, on-the-go food that'll fill you up but won't weigh you down, made with the highest quality, locally sourced ingredients they can find. Fantastic variety. All kinds of stuff. Full breakfast menu, full sandwich and sub menu, quick pick-me-ups like protein packs and fruit cups and veggie trays, you name it. They got a little something for everybody with Dandy, and they always manage to keep the prices reasonable as well. When you're hungry in Duval, Dandy, the local name, is the name to know. So do what I do. Go out and make yours a Dandy. Do it today.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Some things just never get old.
Beautiful day for baseball.
Experience the most play-by-play sports on 1010XL.
Call 904-500-COOL. Ideal Conditions.
Want to support a locally and veteran-owned company? If you need a new AC, we should be your first and only call. Ideal Conditions keeps you cool. Just ask your AC. Call 904-500-COOL or visit idealconditionsjacks.com.
Call 904-500-COOL.
Honk if you see us. Call for service.
Ideal Conditions.
Idealconditionsjacks.com.
Is your backyard ready for the big leagues? Pick it here for Surfside Pools. Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, they have the home field advantage. Family owned and operated, offering weekly pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools make your backyard dreams a reality. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, your hometown MVP.
License number CPC 044080.
Imagine enjoying the beautiful days of summer in North Florida, relaxing in your enclosed patio, free from bugs and debris. I'm Josh Molina, owner of River City Screens. We are your trusted local screen experts. We pride ourselves in our craftsmanship and our relationships, because with Florida's unpredictable weather, you'll want someone dependable and reliable to show up for you every time. New construction or repairs, call River City Screens. 904-923-3544.
License number SCC 131153483.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Yeehaw!
Direct from Broadway, MJ, the Tony Award-winning musical, is starting something all across America. Get tickets now to what the Washington Post calls a runaway hit. MJ the Musical, playing Jacksonville Center for the Performing Arts April 22nd through 27th. Tickets at fscjartistseries.org.
Jacksonville, you know a good defense wins games, and a good fence protects your home. Frank Frangie here. Coil Fencing has been around the block since 1927. Literally, they probably fenced it too. From tough chain link to sleek aluminum fences your HOA will love, Coil is the name to trust. Nearly a century strong and still standing tall. Call Coil today. You can trust them. Call 904-356-4821 or visit coiljacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com.
No one knows more about fishing the First Coast than Captain Kevin Favor. The Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show. Reeled in by the Pest Pros at Royal Pest Services. And Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Thursday nights at 6.
On 1010XL AM.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WEALTH to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WEALTH for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code WEALTH for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Get ready for the best prices ever on all diamond stud earrings and all tennis bracelets at Beard's Diamonds. For 7 days, April 21st through 27th, you will get up to 40% off. Yes, 40%! Locally owned Beard's Diamonds always beats the big corporate store prices. But next week, they're taking value to a whole new level. All diamond stud earrings and all tennis bracelets are on sale. Big time. Best prices ever. You save up to 40%. Don't miss this first time ever buying opportunity. Next week only, and only at Beard's Diamonds, St. John's Town Center. Shop local, shop Beard's.
Hi, I'm Malcolm Anthony. Have you been charged with a crime? You don't have to face it alone. I'm here for you. Stay out of trouble, but if you don't, call me. 285-4LAW. That's 285-4LAW in the 904.
For the greenest, luscious lawn on the block, choose the local legends, Roundtree Sod. Don't just settle for ordinary. Let Roundtree Sod deliver you a picture-perfect lawn. To get a free estimate, call 7414-SOD. 7414-SOD.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service. On 1010XL.
I have to say, somebody sent me a photo on the text. I sent us a photo of the Wade Boggs candy bar.
Okay.
So, at least it says milk chocolate. I've never seen one, so I was unaware.
Was it called Wade Boggs?
It just said Wade Boggs milk chocolate bar.
No.
Huh.
It was called the 352 bar, because I guess that was, I don't know if that
batting
was his lifetime batting average.
Yeah,
It was like 333.
Someone shared something with me on Twitter as well. I think Google AI lied to me about the Pee Wee Reese thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's too bad. That would have been great. That would have been a great story. I was wondering how I never knew that.
Just can't trust these things.
Anyway, all right, there you have it. Let's get to our man, Demetrius Harvey. Scheduling conflict. We're hoping to have Demetrius in studio this week, but instead we will settle for his presence on the radio. Demetrius, good morning, buddy. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How about you guys?
Excellent. Excellent. We're all excited about the draft, but we're also like, all right, let's get it, right? Let's get to this thing. What do you make? All the talk lately has been the scuttlebutt. Could the Jaguars be a player for Ashton Jeanty? What do you make of that?
Yeah, it's interesting. Obviously, a few weeks ago, I posed that question and came on your show, and we all figured out. I feel like he's a player that would immediately upgrade the team's offense, obviously, take the pressure off of Trevor Lawrence. But what I sort of make of all of the talk, I think it's just that sort of talk. Everyone at this time of the year hears different things, or they say different things because it's more interesting, or they're just trying to be different. To me, that's kind of where it is. I'm not surprised at all, and I don't think anyone should be surprised that Gladstone or Liam Cohen would like Ashton Jeanty. I imagine all 32 NFL teams like Ashton Jeanty. Are they willing to pick him over, a Mason Graham, a Will Campbell, those type of players at fifth overall? I'm not sure, but I do think that they are very interested in him, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was the pick.
Demetrius, the Jaguars in a week make Jalen Walker the pick with Mason Graham, Ashton Jeanty, and at least one of those offensive linemen available. What would your immediate reaction to that be?
Yeah, I've actually warmed up to this. I don't know if I've said in the past that I probably wouldn't do it, but I've warmed up to the idea, because at this point it seems pretty obvious to me, at least, that the Jaguars are not fully bought in on Devin Lloyd. Not to say that they should be, but, considering they have not picked up his fifth-year option yet, they still have some time, but it doesn't look like they will. That, to me, says that he's not necessarily in their long-term plans at this moment. So picking a guy like Jalen Walker, who could come in, probably be a 10-year starter on your defense, everyone talks up his leadership ability, so he could potentially be that guy to sort of take the defense to the next level, first and second down as an off-ball linebacker, and then on third down as an on-ball pass rusher. I do think that is really interesting, and it's something unique, almost like Micah Parsons or maybe an Abdul Carter whenever he comes into the league. So I do think that pick wouldn't be maybe as bad as I thought it would be a few weeks ago.
Demetrius, great to talk to you. Is there a prospect you're thinking that maybe we're not thinking about, like, a Tyler Warren, not at 5, but maybe they drop back, but is there a player out there that maybe there's somebody that we're not looking at? Anybody?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, at this point, I feel like everyone has gone through every single, potential pick there is, but maybe some later round guys. Like I just sort of got on to Jackson Slater out of Sacramento State. He's somebody who obviously they're playing in the Big Sky Conference, so he doesn't play against top level talent, but you can see on film that he does dominate that talent every game. And so he's obviously a player that can come in, I think, and become a starter. I do think that a later round guard or center would probably be best. The Rams last year, their number one in terms of snaps was a 6th round rookie center. So I do not think that Gladstone and all of them really feel that they would have to necessarily take a guy high in order to do that. So to me, Jackson Slater may be in the later round.
Demetrius Harvey, Florida Times-Union, here with us this morning. Tom McManus expressed, Demetrius, that he'd be very happy upgrading from Walker Little at left tackle, for instance, right? Mm-hmm. So if they did draft a Will Campbell or Armand Membo, and what would the plan be, do you think? Because you got to project that guy to start immediately, and I understand he needs to earn that, but would it differ if it's Campbell or Membo? Like, would they look at Campbell on the left side, Membo on the right side, moving Anton to the left, or how do you think that they would piece it all together?
Yeah, you could. Well, okay, first I'll say this. I don't think that replacing Walker Little this year, barring a trade, maybe they can trade him somewhere, but I don't think replacing Walker Little this year is realistic at all. You lose, I think, $13 million if you cut him. Mm-hmm. You lose $500,000 next year if you cut him. You can't cut him. You have to trade him. I don't think that playing that 4D chess is smart. So, to me, that wouldn't make much sense. But if you go ahead and draft a Will Campbell or the other one, you could potentially play them at left guard, where Ezra Cleveland currently sits. You can't necessarily cut him either this year, but he does have an out after this season, and you could go ahead and let him go and move on if that's the direction they want to go. I mean, to me, guys, I don't know if I'm going to ever be on board with a tackle that high. It's only because they have guys locked in. It seems like it's hard to get out of the contracts. I just feel like they can upgrade at other positions, and maybe I'm not as low on Walker Little or Ezra Cleveland as other people.
How would you prioritize the Jaguars' needs then going into the draft?
Yeah, I mean, I think that defensive line is the obvious top need. The defensive tackles lately have not been good. You have had, multiple guys. I mean, you had Jeremiah Ledbetter, you had, Big E, you had all these other guys playing significant snaps, and none of them were able to get it done. Devon Hamilton has not come back from his unfortunate back ailment. He hasn't been at full power, it seems like. He gets pushed back. Eric Armstead, I think, is 32 years old. So that's the top need. And then obviously I'll go to the defense again and think safety. Eric Murray's 31. He hasn't necessarily had as high of an impact in the league. I do think that he's a smart safety, a really good stopgap. You're going to need somebody else to replace him later. And then on the outside at corner, so to me, defense is a pretty strong need. Obviously, you have to go out and get a wide receiver as well. But I would focus a little bit on the defensive side of the ball, except for in the case of Ashton Jeanty or somebody elite like that, Travis Hunter.
So if you think Graham's there at 5, Mason Graham, you think they pull the trigger on him? Are they that high on him, do you think? Or you think Jeanty just overrides it? What do you think?
I'm not sure exactly how high they are on Mason Graham. I don't. They've been really quiet. I would be very curious to know who knows that exactly. But Mason Graham, I feel as though he's a guy who comes out with a high floor. He immediately upgrades your interior defensive line. You don't have to worry about that for at least the next maybe 5-10 years, however long. I understand the fault in terms of the size, but it didn't look like he got pushed around at Michigan. So to me, that seems like the obvious pick, and I think that probably will be their selection.
Demetrius, what's a position of need you think for this team that they'll address with one of their 10 picks at least that we're not discussing enough?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about discussing enough, but the linebacker position, I keep coming back to that and thinking that, Devin Lloyd is not long for the roster. Not to say that he'll be off of it, and he could even start this year. But, maybe you go after the UCLA linebacker.
Carson Swessinger, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you. That's exactly the guy. He's like the hot guy right now, right? Kind of climbing up the board.
Yeah, and I may or may not have him in my mock that's coming out in the morning tomorrow. So, he's a guy that is a little bit undersized. I think he played at 220. He came in his pro day at like 240, but I think that's a lot of water weight. So he could get a little pushed around, but his range is incredible. He's a guy that's going to be the modern era sort of linebacker that you're looking for. He immediately obviously replaces Devin Lloyd, and he gives you an option after, Foye leaves because, he's already, I think, around 30 now. So yeah, I do think that this guy could come in and be successful. I do think that the linebacker position perhaps is being overlooked a little bit, and that's because the Jaguars have drafted linebackers, it seems like, every year. It just hasn't worked out. So this time it probably will.
We've heard from the head coach and GM now several times since they were hired, including earlier this week in the draft process. They are doing this for the first time. How bold do you expect that they might be this week?
Just from judging how, James Ladson has talked and Liam Cohen has talked, I feel as though they are going to go as bold as they think they need to. I don't think they're going to be afraid of taking risk. James comes from the Rams, which is a very risky organization. They've shown in the past that they're really willing to go against the grain. They're willing to trade all of their picks, and then they're willing to use all of their picks. They had 14 a couple years ago. So yeah, I think that there's a wide range of options for James and Liam to go, and I do think that they're going to execute all of them. I don't think they're going into this draft playing scared. I believe James was asked about it on Wednesday or on Tuesday. I mean, just does he feel like this is going to set the tone? And he said that obviously those conversations have happened, but he didn't seem scared about that. He didn't seem nervous about the prospect of this draft class defining him early on. I think that they're going to take the risk that they need to.
All right, so yesterday we ran a poll, and we asked, who do you think, assuming good health for everybody, will be the second most productive pass catcher, however you want to define that, catches, yards, touchdowns, whatever. Not talking about running backs here, wide receivers and tight ends. The options we gave were De'Ami Brown, Parker Washington, Brenton Strange, or a rookie wide receiver or tight end. How would you vote on that?
Ooh. That's tough. Obviously, Liam in the past hasn't necessarily used tight ends a ton, but I do think that given that the Jaguars don't really have too many options outside of that, maybe Britton Strange would be the guy because of the safety valve, his familiarity with Trevor Lawrence. I think I would have to lean him. If Parker Washington actually does play a lot of snaps, which I'm not sure of yet, I do think that he could obviously be that number 2 guy where, you might see him get 55 catches this year, that kind of thing. So, it just really depends. If Parker Washington does play a lot, I could see him. If not, then Britton Strange really does have a chance.
Well, I'm curious because it sounds like, without spoiling it, we're all going to read your stuff. We always do, but you may be leaning defensive tackle linebacker with your first 2 picks in your mock, right? So what would be the point where you say we've got to get a pass catcher to help out this wide receiver or tight end group?
Yeah, I think Liam actually, for the first time in a while, I think we got a little bit of draft insight out of them during the luncheon. I think that Liam sort of laid it out that there's not very many star-studded wide receivers, and they do like the wide receivers in the mid rounds. And so I do think that round 3, potentially at pick 70, could be the starting point for that. Now, obviously, if in round 2, the Ohio State wide receiver, I've heard him linked to the Jaguars.
Yeah.
If he's there at pick 36, which I don't think he would be, then you go ahead and take him. But yeah, I do think that later round would make sense. I don't believe Tet or Golden are in play at all for the Jaguars in the first round.
What are your expectations for Trevor Lawrence going into year 5?
I expect him to be extremely successsul. I really do. As long as he stays healthy, I expect him to put on a show in terms of how he looks and how he can look. I've never really wavered too much from thinking that Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback, so maybe that's just my inherent bias toward that. But yeah, I expect great things out of Trevor this year. Even in a new offense, I do think that Liam's going to figure out a way to protect him a lot more. I think that they understand that they have to change some things about Trevor, which I don't think that the last coaching staff necessarily did. I think that they sort of stuck to their plan from what they had in 2022 and never wavered, and we saw the results. So I do think that Trevor's going to have a much more successful season this year. I think that they're going to use the running game to actually take pressure off of him, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
All right, and I'll unofficially, kind of officially, invite you to join us next week for a few minutes. We're hoping to get a bunch of you guys on draft day to give your final thoughts. If that works out timing-wise, we'd love to have you. But final question for today, Demetrius. How many opening day starters will come out of this rookie class, in your opinion? What's your best guess?
I'll definitely be on next Thursday. And my best guess I would say opening day starter, you probably get defensive lineman. You probably get maybe a wide receiver who can start, and then potentially a corner. So I would say 2 to 3 starters, potentially linebacker or corner as the third one. Yeah, I think that makes sense. And then you're going to see a lot of guys play. I have no doubt about that. Maybe I'm a fool for believing it, but I do believe when Liam says that he wants his rookies to play, that they're going to play. And I've seen the Rams do the same thing. I actually just posted an article about that earlier today. And so I do think that a lot of rookies are going to play even if they don't start.
Yeah, I mean, look, they've made it pretty clear. They said we don't want to sign the veteran edge, for instance, because we don't want to block a rookie from getting on the field. So they want to turn this roster over as quickly as possible around a few core key players. Demetrius Harvey, one of our core key participants here on our coverage of the Jags on Jaguars Today. You can find Demetrius at Demetrius82 on social media and, of course, in the pages of the Florida Times-Union, a frequent guest here and friend of ours, friend of the program on Jaguars Today. Demetrius, look forward to catching up with you next week. Look forward to reading your entire mock, and all the best this weekend, man.
I appreciate you guys.
Thank you, buddy. There he goes, Demetrius Harvey of the Florida Times-Union. Bottom line, Demetrius, none of us know, but there are a lot of ways to do it. And here's the key. If it doesn't go exactly the way you think it should, like next Thursday, there are going to be a lot of mad people on Friday, probably, right? Or a lot of people, we should, whatever. Yeah. There's 10 picks, and oh, by the way, just because you had a plan laid out doesn't mean it's the right one.
That's right.
Right? And maybe it is. Yeah. Right? And maybe you'll be correct, but
whoever they pick, I'm going to be happy. You know what I mean? I am. I mean, look.
I'm not going to be happy if they take like Tyler Warren at 5. I'll be honest. Like, I feel like they're better players. You know what I mean? Like, there are a few players that are maybe on their radar with a move back that I wouldn't be happy with at 5.
Maybe not at 5, but to have them on our team, I'd be intrigued.
Oh, I'd be fine. Like, if they trade back to 9 or 10 and that's their first pick and they get an extra second or something like that, sure, I'd be on board with that too.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, it's interesting with Demetrius. It doesn't sound like they would address the O-line very early at all in his eyes.
No.
Like, we're just going to roll with what we have.
Well, he said Will Campbell would be a possibility right there, but, I mean, he thinks it'll be defensive line. I could absolutely see. I mean, they went out in free agency and got some immediate help, you know, and they probably feel like they've upgraded. To what degree? Great point that's been kicked about this week, Tom. Grant Udinski, the new OC, was in Minnesota when they decided to give up on Ezra Cleveland, right? So, now how much sway does he have in the whole process? I'm sure he's leaned on to be, asked, what do you think about this guy? You were there. You coached him.
Their contracts are kind of in the lower range, aren't they, for their position?
Well,
I know you can't cut them, and I'm not saying cut them at all, but I don't think that gets in the way of whether you draft
Walker Little this year's base salary is 8.5. Okay, his cap number is about 11. Okay, if you were to move on from him, if you were to cut him, for instance, which is what Demetrius is talking about, you can't do it. It would balloon to $24 million. Yeah. Why cut him at that point in time? But Ezra Cleveland's, I think, on average below 10 a year, when the top guards are making close to 20 now. So he's about middle of the pack, I would guess.
Based on last year, I mean, I thought Ezra Cleveland's a better guard than Walker's a tackle.
Okay.
In my opinion. So, but
really, it only matters what they think about.
That's right.
You know it. We'll see. And none of us really know the answer to that question.
Yeah.
And it'll be a little bit more clear. Certainly a little bit more clear maybe after Thursday, but after Friday and Saturday.
Right.
That's when we see the full picture.
Listen, regardless if they add to the O-line, I know the attitude's going to change because I know what kind of players they're looking for. And that's to finish blocks and be aggressive. So at least that'll change.
We got to take a break here. Tony will take us around the league. When we come back, we got a fresh 7-rounder over at CBS Sports. Right. We'll see what they had the Jaguars predicted to do and whether or not we like the results of this. We'll do that when we come back as well. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Tom McManus, and Dylan Denmark. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Door Studios. Superior products, exceptional service.
I want you to promise me something. I want you to play life just like you played that game today. So when that final buzzer of life goes off, you'll have no regrets.
1010XL.
When you think of America, you think baseball, cookouts, military, and pride for our country. At Garber Auto Mall, we're proud to carry every American-made truck at one location. Ford, Chevy, GMC, Ram, and Jeep. With the largest inventory selection in North Florida, you can shop with one salesperson. Garber Auto Mall is proud to support our country, our military, and our community. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or at GarberAutomall.com. Garber Auto Mall. Proud to be American.
Hey gang, Prosser here, and it's always great when you can replace a problem with a promise. And let me get right down to it. When it comes to Chad and Sandy and selling your home, here's a promise that you can count on. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Now, more. Spring selling season is here. Rates are down. Activity's up. Now's the best time in years to sell your home. Some homes are sitting on the market, though, and hiring an expert who can maximize your equity and minimize hassle is the key. Those expert agents, and I'm recommending them to sell your home, Chad and Sandy Newman. There have been lots of you out there on the First Coast who are taking advantage. Take David and Heather in Fox Ridge. This is out in Orange Park. We wanted to move to Keystone Heights to get closer to family, away from the city. We heard Chad and Sandy on the radio and called. What you hear is true. We got multiple offers and sold in 3 days for $15,000 above asking price. Call the local experts I trust and recommend to sell my home and yours. Call Chad and Sandy, 414-6200, ChadAndSandy.com.
Your home is your sanctuary where memories are made. Jack's homeowners trust Superior Fence and Rail to make their home feel safe, secure, and complete. Imagine a classic wood fence for privacy, sturdy aluminum to protect your pets, or a modern vinyl design that boosts curb appeal. Every fence is built with precision and pride, standing strong in every season.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Rebound Rehabilitation. 11 great locations across the First Coast, and they're just a click away when it comes to feeling strong and healthy again. If you need the best path to recovery, look no further than Rebound Rehab. Log on and check out one of their great 11 locations.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
Hi, I'm Jeff Breyer, president of Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring.
And I'm Zach Breyer. When my dad started in business in 1990, I wasn't even born yet.
That's true. And after 35 years and nearly 20,000 satisfied customers, we literally have a showroom in every neighborhood.
So whether you need more outdoor living space with a glass or screen enclosure, or you're looking to transform your home with new flooring, we've got you covered.
Visit our websites, or better yet, do yourself a favor and stop by one of our showrooms on Phillips Highway to experience the Lifetime difference and receive 20% off your purchase.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
St. Johns County parents, does your kid have energy to burn? Want them to play a sport for their middle school? Sign up today for the St. John's Middle School Athletic Association. Tackle football, dance, and cheerleading. Who doesn't want their kid to be the next NFL quarterback or dance floor diva? You know how fast your kid can go from playing Xbox to practicing their touchdown dance or sideline cheer? Visit sjmsaa.org. sjmsaa.org.
Right now, they're on their way to disrupt your life, make you uncomfortable, and rob you. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. That's right. Summer heat and humidity are about to attack North Florida again. You know what to do. Call Mike Merritt. Mike Merritt's Heating and Air has a license to chill. When heat and humidity are attacking you, Mike Merritt provides a comfortable chill at a bargain price. Mike has been keeping North Florida comfortable for 30 years. Mike Merritt technicians are never paid commissions, meaning you'll never be pressured to buy something you don't need. And Mike Merritt knows cooling issues can arise anytime. They don't just happen during business hours. So Mike Merritt never charges overtime fees. When you need us, we're here for you. Remember, in the fight against heat and humidity, Mike Merritt has a license to chill. Visit merrittair.com. Florida license number CACO 50384. Friendly competition meets great futures. It's the Birdies and Bounces Tournament presented by the Mackenzie Noel Wilson Foundation, Friday, May 9th at the Yards. Where else can a pickleball tournament, 15 holes of golf, food, fun, beverages, raffles, and great activities help a worthy organization like the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida, where 59 clubs serve nearly 6,000 youth daily. For tickets and team registration, email Charlie C. at bgcnf.org.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you become more active, reach your weight loss goals, and find your inner strength. Membership at the Y includes state-of-the-art facilities, a huge variety of fitness classes, and programs for all ages. It's easy to join the Y since it's affordable for all incomes. The Y is a great place to make connections and experience something new. Visit the YMCA near you or online at fcymca.org.
Here's your 1010XL local sports update, sponsored by Clay Solar Installation Partners. NFL Draft is less than a week away. Former Jag and NFL reporter Bucky Brooks commented on new Jag general manager James Gladstone, leaning on his previous experience with the LA Rams.
He appears to have a formula and a recipe, given the success that the Rams have had with, I would say, mid to late round pick that works for them.
FSU alum Lee Corso is preparing to make his final appearance on ESPN's College Game Day after nearly 40 years on the show. Corso will grace the set one last time on Saturday, August 30th, during Week 1 of the 2025 college football season. After defeating the Chicago Bulls on Wednesday for a play-in win to continue its season, the Heat one victory away from becoming the first 10th place team in either conference to qualify for the playoffs. The game against the Atlanta Hawks will tip off at 7 p.m. That's your 1010XL local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson.
At 11:02, it's 78 degrees. Time and center brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Tom McManus.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service on 1010XL.
Oh, we've got not one, but two 7-round mocks to go side by side with now. Chad Ryder's just dropped in the last 15 minutes from NFL.com.
Yeah, of course.
Promised us he'd have one out today. He's going to join us Monday to break it down. So we'll go through pick by pick on that. Plus, Josh Edwards at CBS has got one he put out this morning as well. So we'll compare side by side for the Jags from those two gentlemen. Let's get a couple of calls in here at 641-1010. Before we get there, Tony's going to take us around the league coming up as well. Mac on the north side is next up. Good morning, Mac.
Okay, see if I can make this. Hey, Tom, I had a good time on the beach last weekend.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming, Mac. It was great to see you.
Same here. Mike.
Yes, sir.
It's saying Mason Graham is light in the behind. I want to quote Jeff Prosser, right? You think we should pick an old lineman at that number 5, or even I'm beginning to warming up to Allen Gentry because he could be the next Saquon Barkley. What do you think?
Ashton Jeanty could be the next Saquon Barkley. He could also be the next Leonard Fournette. But I'm not gonna. I've said it, Tony. I'm not gonna be upset if they take Jeanty. I'm not pounding the table for him.
Yeah.
But I get it. I get why you would do it. And you want to add a little juice, a little star power to this team. You want to score touchdowns. I don't know if any offensive lineman is going to help you more this year, help Trevor Lawrence more than Ashton Jeanty would this year.
Yep.
Now, down the road, I'm not saying you only draft for this year, right? So,
no, right.
Yeah.
Mason Graham, there are mixed opinions on him. I know your guy, Dave Weidel, got mentioned earlier today, thinks nothing special with Mason Graham.
I think he's going to be a good player. I just don't, this whole dominant type player. Listen, the reality is what? The percentage of college players is small that make it to the NFL. 1%.
Absolutely, sure.
Now, starters, it's a little higher, right? You got to think that college starters, the percentages of going up, but not all of it. It's still not that high. So when you tell me that Mason Graham dominates, against Minnesota or Wisconsin, they're great programs. I'm not bagging on them, but that doesn't mean a whole lot to me. On top of that, he had a big nose tackle next to him in Kenneth Grant. Now, he can split a double team, but Grant took care of most of that stuff because he was the bigger guy. So, I don't know. I think people get carried away. Look, even with Ashton Jeanty, I'm a little concerned based off of who he played against.
Sure.
I mean, you're not going to have that in the NFL. It's going to be different. That doesn't mean he can't play and be really great in the NFL, and doesn't mean Mason Graham can either.
You also will have, you would hope, even on the Jags, better blocking than he had at Boise State.
Correct.
And, you got all these things.
Absolutely.
That
That's factored in for sure. But
hard to ignore what he was able to do after contact. I'm not, like you said, he's not going to run over everybody.
I saw
in the NFL.
Bucky Brooks. He was doing superpowers for different prospects in this year's draft, and he mentioned Jeanty. He didn't have to mention all the guys. He was just picking the guys he thought that had one.
Yeah.
And the one he had on Jeanty is contact balance. And if you watch him play, it is superpower.
Yeah.
Like even in that bowl game where everything Penn State was doing was we are following 5 guys are on Jeanty on every snap. So he would get the ball and get hit in the backfield over and over and over. I saw him break 15 tackles that day. There just happened to be 7 defenders around him all the time. In the NFL, the athletes are good enough everywhere on the field that no one on defense can do that. Like they can't even focus in on a guy that is that premier a player and say, we got 5 guys on him.
Yeah.
It's not going to be singled out in that kind of way. Even in that kind of game, I watched him break tackle after tackle after tackle.
He did.
But you can't break 12.
No.
It's hard to do.
No, absolutely. But, yeah, listen, again, I'll be with I'm not pounding the table for him, but if he look, at the end of the day, if he's Maurice Jones-Drew, who was phenomenal, we'd be happy.
Yes.
He did go for 105 against Penn State, by the way, which was his worst rushing game.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, I know. I remember he gave a beat, but he took a beat. I mean, they pounded him pretty
over
good.
him.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Look, I mean, I get it. Pac-12 or now Oregon, the Big Ten, not known for their defense, but 192 and 3 touchdowns against Oregon.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't just fatten up on, Hawaii. And he did fatten up on Hawaii, but he fattened up on everybody.
Yeah.
He
dominated his competition, which you can appreciate for sure.
And I don't think any of these things are the end-all, be-all. This is the grade. This is who they are as a player, right? Like, I think it's really hard to find that kind of thing. The draft process is an inexact process. But on NFL.com, they do have a grade for every player, right, in the draft, and they have them ranked in different spots. And a 7.0 or above is where you get into Pro Bowl. I think 7.5 is All-Pro. 8 is the perfect, guy, essentially. There are 2 players in the entire draft that have a 7.0 or higher, which is Pro Bowl level player.
Yep.
That's on their own grading system. 2, Abdul Carter, Ashton Jeanty.
Wow.
They're the only 2 guys in that category. Travis Hunter is a 6.89.
Yeah, I'd take Travis Hunter over both of them.
I would. I'm not saying that I wouldn't take Hunter over, but I think it is interesting. I think some fans that are talking about we need to find a star.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jeanty's
there's no
a star.
question if you are looking for draft a star. The question is that a valid reason to take a guy? And does Liam Cohen care about how many tickets they sell? You know what I mean?
No.
Ashton Jeanty will sell jerseys, tickets, all that stuff. That side of the business would love Ashton Jeanty coming here.
I would be, honestly, at this point, I would almost be surprised if Ashton Jeanty isn't the first Pro Bowler in this draft class.
Okay.
I could absolutely see that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, because
I think Hunter will be a strong argument because they're probably going to play him on both sides wherever he goes.
Yeah, but then where do you make the Pro Bowl?
I don't know exactly
you make it
where
as
they
a
put him.
receiver unless there's a utility player.
But I look at these offensive linemen, no. I look at the defensive linemen, no.
Now, what could happen is you could have another running back land in a perfect situation and outperform him. But look, anybody takes him where he's likely to come off the board, you're looking at 320 touches as a rookie. Yeah. And he's going to have all the opportunity to make a Pro Bowl right away.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he will.
Flip it around. Could Tank and or Etienne Jr. be stars in Liam's offense?
Could they? Maybe.
I think Etienne more than Tank.
I mean, I don't know.
Right.
I mean,
is he more the guy who averaged less than 4 yards a carry the last 2 years? And granted, offensive line, but where were the breakaway runs once you cleared the line of scrimmage? Didn't see it.
Man, it seemed like they always got called back if he did have some. But I agree with you. And then Tank, you got to hold on to the ball. So I don't know. To me, I would build that up front and then fill in the rest, as you go along through the draft. And look, let's not forget, Gladstone's known for what? Finding gems, right? You look at the Pakua kid, right? Wasn't that his pick?
Puka Nacua?
Yeah, wasn't it? Wasn't that he was pining for him? Like, you got to pick this kid. You got to pay. At least that's what I thought McVay said.
Well, they got Kyron Williams, I think, in the 5th round.
Right. So I'm expecting a little bit of that.
And then that's more likely what happens. But again, like Tony, this is a different draft. This isn't your typical draft where you're loaded with surefire top 10 guys.
I tell you the kid that stood out. I only saw him a few times. Number 3, the running back from Ohio State. Now, they say he's the best. I saw this morning. He's
Judkins or Travian Henderson?
Travian Henderson. Okay. Best pass blocking running back in the draft. And I think he had like 27, 30 catches last year out of the back. So he can do all 3. And I know Jeanty can too. So if you don't get Jeanty, do you get a guy like that makes you happy? If you don't get Membu, do you get a guy like Josh Simmons later or somebody else at tackle that can help you? If you don't get Graham, can you get the Tyreek kid out of Ohio State? You know what I mean? In the second round.
Understood. But right, exactly. And that's the problem, right? You got deep defensive tackle class.
Right.
You got deep running back. At some point, you got to take one, though. You can't keep going, well, there's more later. You've
got 4 first-round offensive tackles at least, right, with Josh Simmons. I bet you he goes in the first round.
I would think so, yeah.
You got Kelvin Banks Jr., who's going to go top 15. Then you got the other 2 that are going to go probably top 10.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
I don't know who's after that. If there are other guys that you would consider, that you get to the second round, you're like, oh wow, yeah, he's a total stud. But
I don't think there are guys that I absolutely say you'd have to have at 36, but there are guys like Anthony Belton of NC State. Maybe you get him in the 4th round.
Okay. Yep.
And a year or two in, you've got a guy that is ready to roll for you. I mean, he played left tackle for the last 3 years.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. Still looking at the grades there on NFL.com for the prospects. Like I said, they only had the 2 players with the Pro Bowl kind of grade on them, with Ashton Jeanty and Carter. They only have 5 players in the draft class that they list as first-year starters.
Wow.
On their scale.
Jeez.
Jeanty, Carter, Hunter, Warren, Loveland.
Wow.
That's the end of that list.
First-year starters.
Not even Graham?
I think that's kind of crazy.
Graham will be a good player. He's in the 6.48. Will become a good starter within 2 years.
Oh, that's
not
good enough.
There are going to be a bunch of other guys that obviously start coming out of this
But it's the grade.
Draft. No, I hear. I hear what
and
you're
the
saying.
grade, it kind of it so fits with how the conversation around this draft was working 3 months ago. We're caught up in their pick and fifth, so what do they do now? And I have no issue with Graham being the guy, but that Graham being graded in that kind of spot, that is this draft.
Right.
There is nobody that you're going, well, this guy's graded so high. No, they're not.
Yeah. All right, let's see these numbers real quick. Just bring it back to what we were talking about a minute ago. All right, 267 carries for 1,008 yards and 58 catches. Okay? Got that? All right. That's what Travis Etienne was in 2023. Okay. Averaged 3.8 yards a carry. That last year was down to 3.7.
Yeah,
but 267, 1,008, 58 catches. Okay. How about 272, 990, and 64 catches? About the same? Is that
ish? Yeah.
Ish?
Yeah.
That's Rashad White, who they replaced with a 4th rounder last year in Tampa. So, I mean, if you look at just the raw numbers, Travis Etienne could be significantly upgraded, based on the production the last couple of years. And again, I get it. What does that mean? One guy was doing it behind the Bucs offensive line versus the Jags. I understand all that.
Well, I guess my question, what happened to Etienne, do you think? I mean, why do you go from 5 yards a carry to 3.7?
You tell me.
You know what I mean?
Right. Well, you tell me.
I don't know. I don't know if I know the answer other than, the system as far as timing. I think they missed some holes a lot. I think both of them did. The line wasn't very good. I don't know.
I mean, the breakaway runs weren't there.
Yeah.
The last couple of years, and I think that factors into it.
Yeah.
Because the average, you're right, 5.1 had more yards on about 50 fewer carries in his first year. Obviously his rookie year.
Can you resurrect that? It's a question.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Right.
I don't know.
But you also, if you got a chance to get, if you think he is a rare talent at the position and you only have Etienne under contract for this year, that's it.
No, right. I'll say this to your point, the 2 that are only for if you're not a first-day starter at number 5, like, to me, that's like, I don't want no project. I don't want a 2-year starter.
Totally.
No.
If it's Mason Graham, whoever it is, better be starting day one. And for that matter, on this team, 36 better be starting, too.
Yeah, I agree with that, too.
All right, let's take a time out here. If you're on the line, stay there. We got Tony taking us around the league. We'll look at these 2 7-round mocks. Got a lot to do before we get out of here today. 641-1010 gets you on board. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Bone-crushing blows to game-winning goals. Yes! Feel the energy on 1010XL. History! Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Call 904-500-COOL. Ideal conditions.
Want to support a locally and veteran-owned company? If you need a new AC, we should be your first and only call. Ideal Conditions keeps you cool. Just ask your AC. Call 904-500-COOL or visit idealconditionsjacks.com.
Call 904-500-COOL.
Honk if you see us. Call for service.
Ideal Conditions.
Idealconditionsjacks.com.
Are you ready to step up to luxury?
Check out the power of our exciting 2025 lineup, including the Lyric, IQ, Optique, and the stunning Vistique.
With over 15 electric Cadillacs in stock and more on the way, it's the perfect time to trade in your Tesla and embrace luxury with a twist.
At Randy Marion, there are no tariffs. So visit Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville, and see why our electric lineup turns heads.
Don't miss out. Drive Cadillac, electric or gas. We have both. Plus tax tag title $9.99 admin fee and resist all on approved credit.
1010XL's draft previews are brought to you by Big Brothers Big Sisters of Northeast Florida. Be a Big.
If Liam Cohen is looking to replicate what he had in Tampa Bay with a pair of talented receivers, the 6'4" Ted McMillan would be amazing to pair with Brian Thomas Jr. McMillan is a possession receiver with the size and ball skills to create big wins deep. He also has a knack for adjusting his routes and working back on throws, which would certainly make Trevor Lawrence's job a whole lot easier.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
At Diamonds Direct, our experts go the extra mile to ensure you have the tools to say I do with absolute confidence. Our promise to you is a completely risk-free shopping experience rooted in transparency, education, and integrity. No pressure, no intimidation, just clarity and confidence in your purchase. But we're about more than just price. Everything is backed by our exclusive guarantees. Put our tools to the test against any competitor, and our expert staff will ensure you get the very best overall value and unforgettable experience. Learn more at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
For over 5 decades, a true American band. This is America. Encore Tour 2025, an unforgettable evening with America. April 23rd, Florida Theater. On sale now at floridatheater.com. America, live in concert. Produced by Outback Presents.
Life happens every day, and sometimes it gets in the way. That's why 1010XL makes it easy to listen to your favorites. If you missed it, get it on demand.
At 1010XL.com.
Channeled by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
Interested in a unique date night? Gibby here. I took my wife Nikki to Wick a Candle Bar. She made her own custom candle right there in the store. Shop local at Wick a Candle Bar. Locations in San Marco and Jacks Beach.
Are you ready for some exciting football action? Your Jacksonville Sharks take on the Massachusetts Pirates Saturday, April 19th. Get family 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 $10 vouchers, and a $20 Al's Pizza gift card, all for only $100. Don't miss the unforgettable Frisbee Dogs and keep an eye out for the Easter Bunny. A fun night for the kids. Get tickets at jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. 904-621-0700.
Prosser here. The Jacksonville Sharks are 3-0 and ready to make it 4-0 this weekend as your Jacksonville Sharks take on the Massachusetts Pirates this Saturday. Get our family 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 $10 vouchers, and a $20 Al's Pizza gift card, all for just $100. Don't miss the unforgettable Frisbee Dogs and keep an eye out for the Easter Bunny. For tickets, go to jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. That's 904-621-0700. And go Sharks! Go Sharks!
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
At Performance Painting, we've spent decades protecting commercial properties with durable, long-lasting coatings. And we can bring the same expertise when painting the exterior of your home. With industry-leading materials and a proven process, we extend the life of your home, reducing maintenance costs and preserving its value. Now, for a limited time, save $500 when you hire us to paint your home's exterior. Just mention 1010XL. Go to performance-painting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is more than just a legal process. It's a life-changing event that can impact your future, finances, and your relationship with your children. You've worked hard to build a life that you're proud of, and you deserve a legal partner who will work just as hard to protect it.
Offices in Jacksonville. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's attorneys. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Rick Julius, licensed in Pennsylvania only. Online at CordellCordell.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Mac in the Middle, Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service. On 1010XL.
All right, lot to do. Let's get right to it. Got ESPN's Draft Buzz column out, which I've been doing every Friday. Want to pick that apart if we have some time. Let's get Fan Cam up here at 641-1010. Cam, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, guys.
What's up? Morning.
Hope you're doing all right.
There you go. We got it. You're playing Tommy's hit
Tommy
right
Mac,
there.
baby.
You're playing Tommy's hit. Yes, sir.
Thanks, buddy.
Just wanted to check in and say congratulations, and it's an awesome tune. I've been listening this morning, and just props to you, man. Well done.
Thanks, brother. I really appreciate that. Big time.
Yep. The Dylan movie just came out. Yours will be coming out in a couple of years with all your full playlist, I'm sure. Well, I just wanted to wish everybody a happy Easter. Looking forward to the draft. Still hoping we can trade down a little bit. But, getting Jeanty in here wouldn't be the worst thing that ever happened, and it's provide a lot of excitement on offense. So everybody have a great Easter weekend, and let's give Liam an example on how it's done. What do you say, guys?
Let's do it. There he goes, Fan Cam. There's no 3, 2, 1 countdown on that one right there. All right, let's let Tony take us around the rest of the NFL.
Now, Gems Around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
Tennessee is Bills back in 2017. Cleveland GM Andrew Berry said on Thursday that it's too early to tell whether or not Deshaun Watson will be able to play in 2025. As Watson continues to recover from his Achilles injury, Berry also said that linebacker Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is progressing in his return from a neck injury, but his timetable is still tough to determine there.
All right, thank you, Tony. Don't forget today's Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day. How would you feel if Boise State running back Ashton Jeanty gets selected before the Jags' fifth pick? A, I'm not happy. That's my guy. B, I'm mildly bummed. Oh, well. C, yay, we get a better player. Or D, yes, we dodged a bullet. All right, well, however you feel, that's exactly what Chad Ryder predicts in his 7-round mock going to the New England Patriots, Ashton Jeanty. So let's go. This is Ryder at NFL.com, Josh Edwards at CBS.
Okay.
We'll see how they look side by side. So Ryder for the Jags goes Mason Graham for the Jaguars. Says it seems like this pick is meant to be. Jags did not address their defensive line need in free agency. Graham's ability to attack the backfield, maintain the line of scrimmage, makes him a clear top 5 value to me. Edwards has the Patriots taking Graham.
Wow.
Jaguars taking Will Campbell. Says new leadership will not dole out the contract, or didn't dole out the contract extension of Walker Little. May come as a surprise that the first draft pick made by GM James Gladstone and head coach Liam Cohen is used to address a position many thought had been filled, but it is a possibility that should be addressed. All right, so we got Graham on one side. We get Will Campbell on the other side. Maxwell Hairston, the corner, going to the Jaguars in the second round, courtesy of Chad Ryder. Excuse me, this is the guy that Prisco likes a bunch out of Kentucky. I think he had, would he have fastest 40 at the combine this year?
Fast guy, a little bit smaller player, but he plays hard.
Blazing fast guy. And on Josh Edwards' side, he had the Jags taking Luther Burden, the wide receiver out of Missouri.
Yep.
Booker was available. He went 37 in his mocks, which was interesting. Let's see. Then Ryder with pick 70 and 88. He goes Elijah Arroyo, the tight end out of Miami, at 70. At 88, he goes with Billy Bowman, the Oklahoma safety. A little short, but he's been a big-time playmaker in college. The 2 third-round picks for Edwards, TJ Sanders, South Carolina defensive tackle, so he gets another line of scrimmage guy, and Jacob Parrish, who's a Kansas State corner. We've frequently mocked him to the Jags, I think, in the middle rounds as well. Getting into round 4 of Chad Ryder's mock for the Jaguars. Let's see, at 107, Alec Ailmaner, the wide receiver out of Stanford, who a lot of people think is a great fit for the system that Liam Cohen wants to run.
Yep.
So he waits on wide receiver, gets a pretty good one in round 4, and then backs it up with David Walker, the Central Arkansas edge rusher. A little smaller, dominated, smaller level competition, but absolutely dominated, and he's going to be an off-the-bench pass rusher. Edwards in the 4th round goes safety Lathan Ransom out of Ohio State and guard Dylan Fairchild out of Georgia with pick 126. Getting back to Ryder, I got to jump ahead because you got to click on every round over at NFL.com. What are we doing, Chad? He's got Clay Webb to the Jags, frequently paired player out of Jacksonville State. He's a guard. You see that a lot in mocks to the Jags at 142. And on the other side, for Edwards, he goes tight end Mitchell Evans out of Notre Dame. Couple of 6th-round picks. Got to scroll down and click and see who we get here. Obviously, it's getting a little bit less important at this stage. These guys are fighting to make the team, obviously. Devin Neal, Kansas running back for Ryder at 182. And then what do they have? 194. Teddy Buchanan, a linebacker out of Cal. Edwards goes, I don't know, Riley Leonard, the Notre Dame quarterback.
Oh, really?
I don't. Not any appeal to me. Like, if you want to get Kyle McCord in that range, I don't think he'll last that long. I'd be interested. And LaQuint Allen, the Syracuse running back. So waits until their second-to-last pick to address running back there. And then finally, let me skip ahead to round 7 for Ryder. At pick 221, I believe is where we're at. Dominic Lovett, the Georgia wide receiver. A little smaller guy, but pretty productive last year in general. What wasn't a great passing game year, numbers-wise. Colin Oliver, a linebacker out of Oklahoma State for Edwards. So, it's really up top where the big difference comes in. Ryder going defensive tackle corner. And Edwards going offensive tackle wide receiver.
Yeah.
So, or maybe we'll get a mix of that.
Did Demetrius earlier, was he saying that Lloyd's kind of on the way out, maybe?
Well, he said if you took Schlesinger, he would be replacing Lloyd probably in the starting lineup. One thing about Schlesinger, and he is...
I've heard him lately, right?
I'm using the air quotes for rising.
Yeah, he's fast, right? Really fast.
He's great in coverage. He can play all 3 downs, and he really excels in coverage.
Reminds us of Baum from Philly.
Doesn't remind me of Devin Lloyd, I'll tell you that. So,
Smiles Jackish.
Yeah, so, boy, linebacker at 36, though. I get it. I can see the vision. Devin Lloyd, they didn't pick up the 5th-year option, right? So, and who do you have behind him? Ventrell, we like him, but what do they think? Chad Muma's never cracked the lineup.
And that's the thing that he doesn't. Well, it does get factored in, but new staff that they're not their guys. They're inheriting these guys, right? Like the contracts, like the people. Now they like them, and some of them may be so good that you're happy they're on. You know what I mean? But it's not. They're not necessarily tied to players that we think that the organization's tied to because of whatever.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? They could be like, nah, I don't know about that guy.
All right, one segment to go. Yeah. We'll come back, get a little draft buzz from ESPN, give you a 10-10 take.
Okay.
Some final thoughts on today's poll question as well, and send you off into that Easter weekend. Courtesy of Jaguars Today right here on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. 1010XL takes you inside the program director's office with Dan and Jeff.
No, you can't take that. That's one of a kind.
Mornings.
We won't put a scratch on it.
On 1010XL.
We're fully insured. Fully insured?
MOV, ING, Southside Kia is moving. Our moving sale is on right now. Help us clear new Kias out. Our current selection's got 200 plus Kias on the lot. Hurry to save big with us. New rides starting at just $20,000 bucks. Plus, bring your tax refund today. We'll double it up to $5K. MOV, ING, get to Southside Kia this spring. Online at SouthsideKiaJacks.com. Get your next ride at Southside. For complete details, call 904-325-9208.
Are you embarrassed by your ugly, cracked concrete driveway? Stop by Stone Core on Phillips Highway for all your outdoor living needs. Let them show you how a durable paver driveway can enhance your home. Visit stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
Plumbing problem? AC not blowing cool? Septic tank backing up? No need to call 3 different companies. Just call Duck Duck Rooter. At Duck Duck Rooter, we do it all. Plumbing, septic, and air conditioning with expert technicians in each department. One company, one call, one easy bill. No hassle, no runaround, just fast professional service from highly skilled techs who know their stuff. Need help? Call 904-862-6769 today and let Duck Duck Rooter handle it all. DuckDuckRooter.com.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living. 1010XL's draft previews are brought to you by Hurricane Grill and Wings.
Abdul Carter would be a tremendous pick if he falls to the Jaguars at 5. The former Nittany Lion got pressure on 18.5% of his pass rushes last season, helping him register 12 sacks and 23.5 tackles for loss. His ability to play off the ball and off the edge will draw comparisons to Micah Parsons, and that would be a welcome addition to the teal and black arsenal already on the edge that features Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
I'm Max Fink on your Gator station. 1010XL is your pipeline to Gator Nation. Listen to the Gator Report all year round.
Freshened up by San Jose Collision on the home of the Florida Gators. 1010XL.
Go Gators! Do you know someone looking for a fun and rewarding summer job? Join the YMCA team, gain valuable experience, and make a difference in kids' lives. Turn your passion for this community into a fulfilling career at the First Coast YMCA. Now hiring camp counselors, lifeguards, childcare leaders, and membership experience team. Every single person on the dedicated YMCA staff plays a role in making the Y a welcoming and vital resource for our community. Find your career at the Y at fcymca.org.
Equal opportunity employer.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyouBlow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
All right, fellas, I got to brag a little. I'm down 40 pounds thanks to Awaken 180 weight loss and keeping it off.
That's cute, Matt. I'm down 110 pounds. That's like losing a Backstreet Boy.
Okay, so I'm the rookie here. I just started, but I'm already down 13 pounds, and let me tell you, it feels good to see the results already.
That's the thing, man. Awaken 180 works. No shots, no meds, no gimmicks, just real food, real support, and real results.
The support team is a game changer because we all know it's so easy to get distracted. But with Awaken 180, you get your own coach and a plan that works with your lifestyle.
And free support for life.
Plus, no gym workouts required, which is great because let's be honest, I wasn't running wind sprints either.
25, 40, even 110 pounds. If we all can do it, so can you. Call 844-346-1800 or visit awaken180weightloss.com.
That's 844-346-1800 or awaken180weightloss.com.
ET here, and it's time for the Taste of Golf at TPC Sawgrass, April 23rd. Join me for fine cuisine from chefs from the top golf clubs in our area. Craft cocktails, games, and unique auction items will be present. This is one of the most impactful charitable events in our area. Come network with a sophisticated audience who's passionate about golf and its values, while impacting the youth in our community. All proceeds benefit First Tee, North Florida. For tickets, go to tasteofgolf.com. Come on, somebody.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
To me, I remember on that summer night, you sat me down and told me your life. You were flying aeroplanes and how much the world had changed. You told me all about the war and all that you were fighting for. I could tell from that look in your eyes, man. What a life, yeah.
All right, say what you want about Tommy Mack's singing ability. It's better than yours. All right, whoever is listening, it's likely better than yours. Let's put it that way. So
thanks for playing it. Listen, the words just tell his story, and it's pretty cool. And then my mom's in the third verse, and I tell you, one of the best things was showing my mom, like, she heard it. She didn't know. I said, you're in the third verse. She's like, I am? I said, let me sing it to you, and then we'll listen to it. When she was listening to it, after I said, it was just
That's awesome, bro. Happy birthday to your mom and your mother-in-law, absolutely. And congrats on the single.
Thank you very much.
Coming out.
I appreciate the support.
There you go.
Man.
Go check out at Meathead55 on Twitter, and you can find a link.
Absolutely.
To go check that song out. Where's it available? Spotify?
It's on Spotify, iTunes, Apple is iTunes. So it's all the and there's more.
If I go, Alexa, play What a Life. Am I gonna?
That would be pretty cool. I don't know. We have to try it. I tell you, when I saw it on iTunes this morning, I was like, wow,
I'm trying that as soon as I get home.
That's pretty cool.
I'm gonna try that. When I get home today.
Yeah.
All right. We want to get to this notes column, Tone. So we'll do that. Let's get today's 10-10 take in.
10-10
take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take is serviced by Ideal Conditions Heating and Air, your go-to local HVAC company, veteran owned and operated.
Obviously, the Jags can go offense, defense, defense, offense, or defense, defense, offense, offense, right? And with the first couple of picks, there are a lot of different ways they can do it. But just looking at today's 2 7-round mocks that we broke down here, Chad Ryder, NFL.com, goes Mason Graham, the defensive tackle, Maxwell Hairston, the corner out of Kentucky. That's one option. The other option is Will Campbell on the offensive line at LSU, and then Luther Burden, the wide receiver out of Missouri. I'll take the offensive side.
Me too.
On this one.
All day.
I will take the offensive side because, then you are solidifying, hey, Campbell, if you beat out everybody for left tackle, you're the left tackle. If not, you're probably the left guard for this year, and eventually you'll be the left tackle, what have you. We need weapons for Trevor Lawrence. Yep. I mean, whether it's Jeanty or we need somebody to move the needle with this team, in my opinion. I think Luther Burden or Emeka Egbuka would do that if available at 36. You want to look. What's more important than Trevor Lawrence to this football team?
Absolutely.
Agreed. Yeah. Totally agree.
I think the combination of looking through both of those 7-round mocks and the question we have today, talking specifically about Jeanty, I think the combination of them has solidified where I'm at in my head as to who it's down to. Seriously, in my head, it's Graham and Jeanty. Because when I looked at that second mock where they wound up getting Campbell and Burden, I love Burden right there at 36. But in my head, I was like, why the heck isn't it Jeanty? Like, that was my first reaction to it is, why is it not Jeanty?
Like Jeanty Burden instead of Campbell Burden.
I was almost frustrated by it. I was like, why isn't it Jeanty? I was like, it really is Graham and Jeanty in my head at this point.
Yeah. I think, and I can't
Doesn't
speak
mean
for
I'm
them.
right, but it's where I'm at.
But I think they would tell you there are only few of these tackles that we see as long-term,
That's fine.
surefire
I wouldn't
starters.
be upset with it if they did it.
If Jeanty's not there at 5, who are the two? Graham and who else?
He's probably Graham.
Just
Graham would be pretty easy.
No, I know for you, but I'm just saying, like, you think there's like you think it's Graham or Campbell?
I think it has to be one of the offensive line.
Okay. Okay.
I think What do you? I mean, I don't think they're like down to Graham or Tyler Warren. Maybe it's Jalen Walker.
Yeah, I think
I'd
probably prefer Walker over one of the linemen, but that's me.
Yeah.
In that
I'm open to all.
And
of
it's
it. I really am.
Yeah.
Like they go Jalen Walker. You got a vision. Put it this way: if they go Will Campbell, I want to hear the vision.
Yeah.
Because we're not drafting him to give us quality depth on the bench. So
or a project.
Who do you imagine? What position do you imagine him competing at immediately?
And I think a large part of it is they're picking fifth. Right. So with them being in that spot and 3 of the names that are going to be coming off the board in those first 4, we have a pretty good idea of who 3 of those 4 names are going to be. So it's really, I only need 2 names in my head. Right there at 5 that I'm debating between at that spot. So for me, I'm down to Graham Jeanty. Like that's where I'm at. And depending on my mood in the moment, I'm going with one or the other. I'm not even fully committed either way.
See, for me, if it comes down to those 2, I'm going Jeanty all day.
I would
to me, he's more of a playmaker.
I would too at this point.
I would.
I mean, look, Graham's a good player.
Yeah.
I don't doubt. I think we do have some options at his position, you know, that we don't know. You know what Mason Smith can do. Eric Armstead moving back there full time, at least for the short term. I'm not saying that Graham couldn't upgrade the spot.
Yeah,
I'd be much more jazzed for Jeanty. That you shouldn't draft to get me excited, right? I get it, but that would be my reaction.
To me, if you take Graham, then he better be a Warren Sapp, Aaron Donald, Chris Jones type. You don't draft them that 5 if you don't. Jeanty better be,
And Chris Jones is a second-round pick, by the way.
Yeah, right. But you better be that kind of player.
Of course, you draft Jeanty, he better be.
That's what I'm saying.
One of those guys.
I get torn about that in this draft, Tommy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think this draft has a Warren Sapp. I just don't.
Gosh.
Right, but if you think then Jeanty is Saquon or Tomlinson, potentially, with the right help.
I think he's a whole lot close. I think Jeanty is way closer to being as confident as you can be that he's going to be that level player as there is in this draft, essentially.
All right,
I do think he's that.
Let's look at a few notes from ESPN's Draft Buzz column today. True or false? We will see a team trade up in the top 10. Matt Miller says false, unless the Steelers get antsy and come up for a quarterback. Jordan Reed says true. Keep an eye on the Bears. He is suggesting that if Shedeur Sanders gets past the Saints, teams will come to the Bears. If you like him enough to trade to 10, why wouldn't you just trade to 8 if you can?
Carolina,
right? And then don't take a chance. But Field Yates says true. I think it'll come in the back half of the top 10. If we get one, I think it'll be a team trying to get Tyler Warren or Jeanty. The Bears lurk as an obvious potential home for either, so an interested team might give Carolina or New Orleans a call to leapfrog Chicago. If you're thinking about trading for Jeanty and you're not trying to get ahead of the Raiders, then you're not reading the room.
Right.
So we'll see how that all plays out. Trade in the first or second round that could make sense. Reed says Eagles trade 32 and 168 to Jacksonville for 36 and 107. So we move up in the last pick of the first round, get the extra year on the contract. With 10 picks, Jags can be aggressive in addressing holes on the roster. Finding a wide receiver, too, should be a priority. So either Luther Burden or Emeka Egbuka, if they're on the board at the end, this is a move that's worth making. How would you feel about a move like that, Tom?
Yeah. Another weapon for Trevor's good.
I would love either one of those guys at 36.
I would be pumped if they pulled off that kind of move late in the first. I'd be all kinds of
And that's not a terrible move. You don't lose a pick. You just drop that first, fourth rounder back into the fifth round. Okay, but you have an extra third. So, and you're moving up to get a guy that you covet. And then you'd have, depending on what you did at 5, you'd have hell of an interesting start to your draft there. I don't think there's anything else particularly that that factors in here. They did talk about Schlesinger being one of the guy who is rocketing up the board right here. Oh, here's one from Matt Miller, because I heard this or read this from another source. As the draft approaches, Georgia center Jared Wilson, my freaking guy.
Okay.
Hands off. Jared Wilson at pick 70. He ain't making it to 70, bro.
No.
Okay.
A one-year starter for the Bulldogs turned an elite pre-draft circuit. A ridiculous 4'8", 440 at 6'3", 310, 32-inch vertical, elite physical tools, putting him into late first round, early second round territory. Right there. Yep. If they took him at 36, I'd be like, damn, I wish I could have got him later. But I
If you love him, you love him.
I love him.
That's
man.
right.
And that's the thing, though. Would he start right away here? I don't know. I mean, they just signed Hainsey, who's got experience in the offense.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
So many ways to do it, man. I'd like to draft off Pro Football Network, Tony, where we continue to get like Jack Sawyer in round 5.
That'd be nice.
Yeah,
that would be the
love that,
the absolute plan. So I think we've exhausted all the.
Ohio State's gonna have a lot of draft picks.
Yeah,
a lot of high draft picks.
It's crazy when you win a national championship.
Yeah, true.
You're loaded.
You got players.
And what is it? Jeremiah Smith would probably be. I mean, what, would Smith be number 1 overall? A non-quarterback this year.
Oh man, yeah, he'd be up there.
Right, ahead of Travis Hunter.
He'd be up there.
He'd be right there.
Yeah.
He'd put it this way: you'd have another elite player that we wouldn't be getting at 5. Because he'd probably go at 4 and go at worst and hook up with Drake May, and you'd be like, "Damn it! At least we beat the Titans." We got that win from last year to hang our hat on. Jordan Reed did bold predictions column. This is so weak. Yates, Dart, or even Shuck could go ahead of Sanders. Okay, so are you predicting that?
Bold.
Yeah, right.
I mean, he could. Sure, they could.
Yeah,
they could also
so
not. Matt Miller, I've heard Membo could be the first offensive lineman taken. So are you predicting that? Where's the prediction?
Sherlock.
And then Reed, and I love Matt Miller, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but Reed did make a prediction that Jahdae Barron will be off the board before Will Johnson among
It's at least a
corners.
prediction.
Okay. Yeah, right? So there you have it. You know, who knows what the Jags are going to do.
It's going to be exciting, whoever they grab.
We're going to be loaded next week. Next Friday, of course, it's going to be a fun show.
Yep.
We won't have any guests. Tommy will be our third host, and we'll take calls all day on your reaction to what the Jags did. I know we have Chad Ryder among potential others on Monday. We got tons of guys joining us on Thursday. Got the media mock draft on Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
Got a few things cooking for Tuesday. I mean, it's going to be all draft, even more so than it's been. And then, we'll be breaking down OTAs. Minicamp or not.
Hey, the new era begins, man. It's exciting.
It is.
Right? I mean,
it is
come on.
exciting. It's begun already, but the draft really puts it into another stratosphere. All right. With that said, let's welcome in Helmets and Heels.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
All right. Hello, Taylor Dahl.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you guys
Easter
doing?
weekend.
All right.
Yeah, happy Easter weekend.
Happy last weekend before the NFL draft.
Yes, I love draft weekend. I love draft day.
Love it all, right? But I'm also looking forward to my last stress-free weekend for a while. You know, like next week's going to be
wild
with work duties and everything else. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah, that's our life. That's what I tweeted yesterday because I've done 13 podcasts in 15 days, and so my mind is just scrambled right now. And so, after next weekend, it'll be a little bit of a breather.
All right, so what's cooking today?
Yeah, so we're going to take a little bit of a look around the AFC South, and we're going to see some of the other rosters, and of the AFC South teams, which ones we feel like could kind of improve the most in the draft. So we're going to take a look at that, obviously open up the text line and Twitter to that. And we're going to continue on our segment we've been having, talking about the teams ahead of the Jaguars, picking that 1 through 4. Today we're at the Giants, so we're talking to one of the Giants game day radio producers, and he's going to share kind of the inside of where the Giants fans' minds are. I know Abdul Carter for a lot of people is there, but there's been a little still chatter of if it's Shedeur Sanders. So we'll get that a little bit more look at that so we know.
God, would I love to be Shedeur Sanders.
Me too.
I mean, and give the Jags the best. Because I don't know if the Saints are going to jump up to get him at this point. You know what I mean? Yeah. And if they don't, I don't think anybody else is going to. So I don't think he creates. I think Jeanty does create a better trade market for the Jags.
Yeah, same.
If any gets created.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, well, great. Have a great show.
Thanks so much.
Have a great weekend
Happy
as well.
Friday.
And we look forward to having you on our media mock draft.
Yes,
The Bears.
Right.
Are you picking?
I'm picking. I have no idea, so we'll figure it out on Thursday.
Love it. Love it. All right. Taylor Dahl with the Helmets and Heels crew coming up next. Tom McManus, happy Easter weekend to you.
Happy Easter to you and everybody out
Fan
there.
Cam reports he was playing that song off Amazon Alexa. So So
right.
there
No
you go.
kidding.
You can get Tommy
I'm going to
Mac
drive my wife crazy.
on Amazon Alexa. Play Tom McManus.
Hey, Alexa, play it again.
Yes. Tony Smith, have a great Easter weekend.
You do the same, yeah.
As well. Dylan Denmark, I'll see you on the first tee tomorrow, young man. Indeed. He's coming to the home course tomorrow. Yes. You ain't played golf till you played the St. Augustine Shores, baby.
That's right,
so,
man. That's right.
That's it.
Smoke 'em.
Everybody else, happy Good Friday. Have a good Easter weekend. And we'll talk to you Monday, and we'll be hitting the ground sprinting on Monday. Wall-to-wall draft all week long. For Tony, Tom, Dylan, I'm Mike Dempsey. Thank you for listening to Jaguars Today. Thanks to Demetrius Harvey for joining us and all our guests this week as well. Stay around for Helmets and Heels coming up next on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Maxwell House Coffee will live on.